on that theme, Sean, coming in as the chief diversity officer, the idea is to create an inclusive environment. How are you all thinking about making sure that you're thinking about this multi-general workforce who communicate differently, people from different backgrounds, culture? How are you thinking about that in real time at Macy's?
Yeah, really great question. Listen, I think we go back and I would say we started on this journey a while ago, but at Macy's we launched an enterprise-wide social purpose last year. And it's called Mission Everyone. And it's a platform that really has helped us create the right framework to get our entire organization rallied behind this commitment and shared goal of increasing ethnic diverse representation at a leadership level to 30% by 2025. And establishing pipelines for diverse talent. So to Jacqueline's point, you really need to make it clear about where you're headed and what you're doing and signal to your entire organization what you're all going to be charged to do. So once a corporation or organization commits to achieving those goals, then you got to think about the areas that address, all of what we're talking about. So, and you have to be intentional. Then you have to really think about how you hold people accountable, and you got to put real measurement behind it. So for us, we really start to talk about and identify where we have gaps and focus on where we have the greatest opportunity to eliminate barriers in entry and achieve this greater diverse representation. But everyone's got to get on board and everyone's got to figure out what the role is in really achieving that. And that just really runs across the entire, business. So I think one of the things and some of the things I would just ask is that we had to ask ourselves some questions, and I would just ask that others do the same. So if access to education is an issue for certain roles, consider funding scholarship for diverse candidates in that field. The other question was whether or not there were opportunities to emphasize relevant experience. And so how do you consider certificate programs or alternative skills or evaluation and development? And then thinking about how we attract talent, whether or not diverse candidates see themselves reflected in our business and in our industry. I mean, that for us can be a little bit of a hurdle. So I think partnering with HR and marketing and communications to really help us think about how to authentically tell our story and narrow that perception gap is really key. But also, I go back to something we were talking about earlier, and that's connecting with these higher education institutions and really being clear and really sharing who we are as an organization and what we offer as opportunity. I think most folks think about Macy's as selling and merchandising, and there's so much more to what we offer. So really educating students on the various career opportunities is really important. I would say really thinking through collaborations and being strategic, as the chancellor was talking about earlier, I think is incredibly important. So how do you really think again about employees in higher education institutions collaborating and building real relationships, build on real opportunities. So efforts must be intentional and focus on schools with the disciplines and degrees that solve for a need in your business for diverse talent. So really thinking truly about how that works. So for us, we're partnering with Clark Atlanta University that have specific disciplines and degrees focused on merchandising. That is a real win for us. Not only do we have a donation there, but our colleagues and alumni of that school are really involved in this partnership and what we do. So some of those things I think are really critically important. And I just encourage campus leaders to canvass their students and think outside the box when creating opportunities